Hi everyone, welcome back to Algebra 2 Easy. Today we're going to talk about how to sketch an angle. What you see here is an XY plane surrounded by a circle because we are about to start the unit circle. But before we can start, we need to know how to sketch an angle. A couple of key bits of information here. An angle on the coordinate plane is in standard form when the vertex is on the origin and one ray lies on the positive side of the x-axis. Now that's a lot of information, but we're going to break it down. The ray on the x-axis is called the initial side. And I'm going to put a star here because this is where you start. You always start with sketching the initial side. The other ray is called the terminal side. So I want you to imagine this. What you have here is you have your initial side, which, let me zoom out here. I've highlighted down here which one is the initial side, I'm going to put an I there, and which one is the terminal side of your angle. The initial side never moves. The terminal side is the one that moves to create the angle. So originally, you have your initial side, and then you have your terminal side right on top of it. But the terminal side is the one that moves and then gives me the full shape of the angle. Now there are two types of angles we can have. We can have a positive angle measure or a negative angle measure. If your angle moves counterclockwise, you have a positive angle measure. If your angle moves clockwise, you have a negative angle measure. And one full rotation from the initial side all the way around is equivalent to 360 degrees. Let's practice. Here's our first example. We're going to sketch 120 degrees. Now, before we get started, I have an example over here of the key angles. I'm going to label those on what is called your quadrantals. These axes are called quadrantals when it comes to the unit circle. So 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and then we get back to 360 degrees. Let's start by sketching 120 degrees. You're going to start by drawing your initial side right here along the positive side of the x-axis. Now we have a positive angle. Remember, positive angles move counterclockwise. So based on that, 90 degrees isn't far enough. 180 would be too far. So we have about 90 degrees in between here. And you can kind of see the breakdown of the angles over here in the example. So we're just going to sketch. Sketch means it's not going to be precise, and that's okay. We're going to sketch where we think 120 degrees will be. Now, I always tell my students to highlight their initial side and terminal side. Makes it easier to see. At this point, I can't tell if this is a positive angle or a negative angle. I need a positive angle. So you need that directional curve so you know what direction the angle is moving. So we're going to draw that directional curve this way. Throw in an arrow. And there we have it. We have sketched 120 degrees. Perfect. Let's try again. All right, now we're going to sketch negative 45 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and label these real quick to just kind of give us a reminder of our quadrantals. All right, and we need to sketch negative 45. Let's start by sketching the initial side. No matter what type of angle you have, the initial side never changes. It is always there on the positive side of the x-axis. Now, a negative angle tells us we need to move clockwise. So, this would be 90 degrees. We need to travel 45. That's going to be right in the middle of these two angles. Go ahead and highlight those. so we can see them better. And again, like the last problem, you can't tell if this is a positive angle or a negative angle. You have to have that directional curve telling the reader whether this is positive or negative. So we need to draw the curve going clockwise, and that tells the reader that we have a negative 45-degree angle. Let's try one more. Let's sketch 225 degrees. One more time, I'm going to label my quadrantals. And then back to 360. And now I'm going to sketch my initial side because we all know the initial side never changes. It will always be right there on the positive side of the x-axis. Positive angle, what direction are we going to move? Counterclockwise. So we're going to go around this way. And let's see, 90, too small, 180, still too small, 270, too big. So we need to be in the middle here of 180 and 270. Now we know each quadrant is 90 degrees. So let's figure out where should 225 be. How far away is 225 from 180? Well, it is 45 degrees away. So we're going to go right in the middle of that quadrant. Last and final step, directional curve. What direction did the terminal side move? It moved counterclockwise, so we're going to draw our curve going around. Please don't judge me, that is a terrible curve, I know it, but it's still a curve. So now we have 225 degrees. Sketching angles doesn't need to be hard. Hope you have a great night. See you later.